We're here at the ABC studios in Phoenix, and we're going to be on the morning program, so I need to, almost like a superhero, transform into St. Francis. Our dear friend Glenn Scarpelli, who is one of our main contacts in Sedona, does the morning shows here on Fridays, and he was so generous to have me on the program. So we're going to start getting ready for that whole experience.
Have that set up, and then we come to the book.
Best-selling author, filmmaker, incredible performer, and has done these concerts in war-torn countries. We have some footage.
Just remember to attach the chair so you're done. Don't.
Well, he gave up everything to lead a life of poverty, then led thousands of followers to do the same. One of his many missions was to preach purity and peace. I'm talking about St. Francis, who died in 1226. So what does this mean today? Well, it means St. Francis inspired our next guest to take his very own journey. And joining us again is the always inspiring Glenn Scarpelli of Sedona Now TV. And with him, a special guest this morning, New York Times bestselling author, songwriter, and performer, James Twyman. Welcome, James.
Thank you so much for having me on the program.
Oh, no, thank you for being here. This is so inspiring, just everything, James, that you have done. And Glenn, first of all, tell me, you guys have a relationship and a friendship that has lasted a long time.
Truly, you know, I've always been a fan of James Twyman, and then we became best buds. In fact, my partner Jerry calls him my non-gay lover, to be honest with you. So,
wow.
That's
Good
important.
morning.
That's pretty inspiring.
Good morning. So I want to brag about my friend for a moment. You know, he's a New York Times best-selling author. He's a successful filmmaker. He's a singer, performer. But really, what really inspires me is he does concerts, peace concerts, in war-torn countries. And we have some footage here from a documentary that was made on Jimmy. This is in Syria, looking over a village in Syria that was taken over by ISIS. And he's there with religious leaders from all different types of religions, bringing the world together. And at these moments, there are actually meditations done, worldwide meditations done simultaneously with these concerts. So this man really is not only just a peace troubadour, is what he's known for, but he walks his talk.
Wow, and some of those images are pretty remarkable. We just saw the gunman, you know, standing by to protect you, and when you're trying to give the message of peace. James, you have been on this journey for a long time, my friend. I've learned more and more about you. And you just spent the last couple years writing a book called Giovanni and the Camino of St. Francis. Why did you decide to select St. Francis and then research and study and walk his walk and talk his talk to write this book?
I've always had a deep love of St. Francis of Assisi, and so many people associate him with the animals or St. Francis of the bird bath, but he's so much more complex. He was a character in the 13th century that led to the Renaissance. That's how impactful he was. And 800 years later, we're still talking about him. So when I wrote the book, Giovanni, I wanted to share something deeper, and I just began to think about a musical. What would happen if Francis came back and shared his story and sang songs about his life? And that's how the musical Brother, Sun, Sister, Moon was born.
Yeah, which is so interesting and fascinating that out of that would come a musical.
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
And that's Jimmy Twyman, everyone.
Right. So you started to write this music really for the book, and it just turned into something much bigger?
It did, and now we're traveling across the country penniless, trying to imitate Francis as best as we can on our way to New York, where it'll be an off-Broadway show for 2 weeks. And we're doing something that no other show has ever done, which is to invite the homeless to be our primary audience. So every day we'll be on the street passing out free tickets to the homeless, giving them socks and hats and gloves. feeding them,
amazing.
and the people who buy tickets are the ones who will be feeding them.
I love this.
That is beautiful.
True inspiration. And
Truly.
so you're going to give us a bit of a sample
Sure.
of what the musical is about. And what is the name of this song?
It's called Simple.
And you wrote the song.
I did,
I've
yes.
yet to hear this myself, so I can't wait. I can't wait.
Appropriate.
All right. Be like a child today. Don't overcomplicate what's simple. Yeah, so simple. I do believe that you can finally see what I have tried to get you to understand. It isn't hard to see what has always been true. If you take my hand, just take my hand. Be like a child today.